Yeah, just allow me to break down in very simple, plain terms what it is that's going on here on planet Earth and in reality in general. What qualifies me? Well, the dude that made it all wrote a book, told me all about it. You see, as time is moving forward here on this Earth and leaving history behind it, it is indeed progressing forward to a final conclusion, the end of the world. Now, everybody pretty much agrees that's gonna happen. The only dispute is about when. And so about every 80 years or so, the fourth generation to rise up in that 80 years, that means great-granddad, granddad, father, son, this guy, this fella is guaranteed to get some kind of end-of-the-world Armageddon-type experience in his life whereby everyone is saying, this is the end. But why would it be every 80 years that this fourth generation has to deal with some kind of apocalypse? That's because this generation rebuilt from the last one. This generation enjoyed the fruits of all that and got a little bit lazy. This generation was completely spoiled and went totally out of the way. This generation shows up out of the way, doesn't know what's what. This generation squandered it all. So while this generation went out of the way, this generation arrived out of the way. And if it's all gone out of the way, there's only one way to fix it. You're gonna have to start over again. Now I want everyone to really dig deep to get what I'm about to say here. That process I just described that repeats every 80 years in history mimics spring, summer, fall, and winter arriving at spring again. It mimics the 4 phases of the moon. It mimics the human lifespan. It mimics your every single day you have to go to sleep at the end of the day, so that you can wake up bright and fresh the next morning. And yes, I know there was only 40 years between World War I and World War II, and that tells us something also, but I said I would keep this simple. Let's stick to the 80 for this one. Fibonacci said, rest inside of Mandelbrot said. If you don't know what I'm talking about, though, don't worry about it. Let's get back on track. Why is it that these fellers always scream it's the end of the world and Jesus is coming back in our generation? We are the ones. Because history repeats, and if it repeats, it has to be telling one single story that we all get to witness over an 80-year period. You might be the old man when it all goes to pot, or you might be 40 years old. We all know that it happened, though. But God, who wrote this story and holds it in his hand moment by moment, wrote a very specific set of events that would spell out the very end of everything. And while we are directly on course according to his prophecy without a single doubt, he gave extremely specific details in Matthew 24 and the revelation of Jesus Christ. Every 80 years that story plays out, but those details aren't quite right. But when they are and you're not guessing about it, you'll know it's time. The only thing you can do about any of it is trust and obey.